You know, as a father myself, I would hope that the love for my child would not blind me from the obvious telltale signs that they are a fucking moron. So Satan's Little Helper tells the story of a young boy obsessed with a video game who unknowingly becomes the accomplice to a serial killer on Halloween night. Alright guys, welcome to yet again another Patreon-sponsored review. This one is sponsored by Lorenzo Antonino. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. I apologize if I did not, but he was very passionate about me seeing this movie, Satan's Little Helper. Asked me multiple times, so I figured I might as well get it out there for him. I've never seen this movie before. Honestly, I've never even heard of it before, so this was a complete fresh watch for me. And I will say, thematically, it's kind of ironic that I do this right after Killer Clowns from Outer Space, because there's a lot of correlation between those two movies. We'll get into it. So Satan's Little Helper is a black comedy, basically a black horror comedy, where this little boy is obsessed with this video game, Satan's Little Helper. He's a very standoffish, strange kid that obviously doesn't have very many friends, doesn't really connect with his family all that much. His sister, his mom, his dad, nobody it seems like, except for this video game. So he goes out on Halloween night and he sees this person dressed up in some form of Satan. It's a pretty cool little costume, dragging out a body of a house, and this kid thinks that he is suddenly enacting this video game and becomes Satan's Little Helper, unknowingly helping a guy who is really a serial killer behind a mask. It's an interesting concept. That's one of my first positives, is that the concept, the setup of this movie is intriguing. It is something that I think could merit a very good horror movie or a horror comedy. And I can see why there's a lot of people who really like this movie. I mean, when I was talking about it in the Scream Stream chat, Lindsay immediately chimed in. I watched that every single Halloween. I was like, oh, okay, I never even fucking heard of it before. So I could see why some people would look at this movie and they would have fun with it and it would be like a yearly watch just because of that concept alone. This kid thinking that he is just playing this game, meanwhile he's helping a dude slay people left and right on Halloween night. Pretty creative. Talked a little bit about the Satan costume. That's another positive. I do like the way that it looks. It doesn't look like your, stereotypical Satan, like a red-faced dude with a black cape and horns or anything like that. It's a little bit more demonic looking. If this movie was a lot more popular, a lot more well-known, I could see that being like a cult mask that a lot of people would wear on Halloween, so it has that appeal to it. And the movie doesn't really shy away from gore too much. It's not a full-on splatter fest, but there's quite a few times where this guy will kill somebody, namely one scene in particular, and he's literally pulling out the dude's intestines and everything. So it's kind of played for laughs. It's not really meant to gross you out. It's not really meant to be shockingly gory. It's more kind of like a splat fest, or like something along the lines of like Evil Dead, like gory but kind of played for laughs. One more thing I liked about this, it really feels like a Halloween-centric movie. You know, there's movies that are set on Halloween that don't necessarily feel like Halloween. This movie is bathed in Halloween atmosphere. I could see why somebody like Lindsay, for example, if you really like this movie, this would become a yearly staple in the time of October, because it just has that whole vibe about it. It's centered around the holiday of Halloween. It's all about costumes and shit going down when people are trick-or-treating. It feels like the holiday. So that's a positive. I like when a movie does that. And my final positive for Satan's Little Helper, I like the sister. She fine.
You're really into this, aren't you?
Now, moving into my negatives. Sorry, Lorenzo. This movie wasn't for me. A lot of the same correlation, a lot of the same reasoning for why I didn't really care for Killer Clowns from Outer Space very much. Two totally different movies. Killer Clown is like super B movie. This one is actually just more of just a regular horror comedy, kind of going for the tone of like an Idle Hands. But to me, all of the movie's flaws, I understand, like the acting, like the production value, like the goofiness, is intentional to a degree to kind of have that horror comedy vibe. It just doesn't quite land for me. So the tone of the movie, to me, honestly, and production-wise and acting level-wise, it feels like a glorified Goosebumps episode, if I can be honest. A gory one. You know, I think there might have been a few F-bombs, I don't really know, but it's a gory version of a Goosebumps episode, but it feels like an episode of Goosebumps, and it's not in a good way. Don't get me wrong, I love Goosebumps, but when you're making a horror comedy, and I think this was in 2004, it just doesn't really tie back to any kind of nostalgia. It just kind of feels a little cheap to me. So yeah, I mean, all of those flaws that kind of go with that. The acting, not so great. I mean, you even get the girl from Pulp Fiction, Honey Bunny, you know, "Oh, you motherfuckers, I'm gonna execute every last motherfucking one of you." She's in here. She's the mom. She's all right. You know, the sister, she's all right. She looks good. Oh, the kid. Oh my God. People, I don't think I have been more annoyed by a child character in a very long time than the level of annoyance I had with this kid, the center of the story, the center of Satan's Little Helper. This kid is a fucking idiot.
Are you Satan? Can I be your helper?
Again, I understand they probably intended him to be that way, but if he didn't annoy me so much, I might have been along for the ride better. But every single line out of this kid's mouth, the way that he would just kind of stare with an open, like, "That looks so real." The way that he does every decision he made, all the way up to offering his own father as a sacrifice to Satan, and then seconds later he's like, "I didn't mean it." That kid, I wanted to reach into the fucking television and just strangle the shit out of him. Motherfucker. Oh my God. Is this like the old cranky thing starting to, you know, kind of set in? I mean, I'm going to be 30 in a year. Is this like the, you know, get off my lawn DNA starting to kind of seep in through my fucking pores? I don't know, but just the kids that are annoying annoy me 1,000 times more than they ever did. Maybe because I was an annoying kid. Who the fuck knows? But that motherfucker and Satan's Little Helper, even if he was my own son, I would be like, dude, your fucking social skills suck. We have to change something because god damn.
This could be our secret door to hell.
Mom, help me, Alex!
Child's game
For this you shall die.
is about to become a terrifying reality.
Burn his blind!
And my last negative for Satan's Little Helper, which kind of sealed the deal for me not really liking this movie all that much. If it had ended with a nice little punch, if it had given me something cool, a nice little twist or something, I would have forgiven it enough to give it a pass, like a see it on Netflix or something. But I don't even like the ending of this movie. Like, it tries to go for like this, you know, open-ended thing to, I don't know if it was planning on leaving out to a sequel or if it just kind of wants to leave things dangling like, ooh, he's still out there. And it just, the whole execution of it was just kind of like, really? That's how you wrap this up? All right, fuck it. So overall, guys, know who you are when you walk into this movie. The same thing I said with Killer Clowns from Outer Space. This is not a movie that I think that a lot of people are going to dislike. I think this does have a specific audience, and it does have people that will appreciate it and like it for what it goes for. I know one of them. So, I mean, I know they're out there. Lindsay. More Lindsays are out there. But it's just not for me. My particular taste when I watch this, I know what they're going for. I understand. I'm totally in on the joke. The joke's just not funny to me. So this is a movie that I appreciate watching. Cool. I can identify with a couple of things in there, like the Halloween holiday and, you know, the cool mask and stuff like that, that I will remember this movie for. But I don't think it's a movie that will gain much traction for me upon rewatch. I don't think it's something that I would recommend to too many people unless I really know their movie taste is kind of centric around things like this, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, movies like that are really in on the bad that it's good, or so bad that it's good joke. But it's not a movie that I would recommend to very many fans. So if you've seen it, great. I hope you liked it. If you haven't seen it, just know who you are before you walk into it, because it's not for everybody. So despite having a really strong concept, despite having a few things that I will remember this film for, it's just not my cup of tea. So unfortunately, for Satan's Little Helper, gonna have to recommend that you skip it. So what do you guys think of Satan's Little Helper? Lorenzo, I apologize if this is like one of your favorite movies, man. I just didn't work for me, buddy. So I don't know if this was one of your favorites or you thought the same thing as me and you just wanted to see what my opinion was. It's kind of like a sick joke, who knows. But thank you as always for your support on Patreon, and look forward to more requests like these. Hopefully a movie I like a little bit better, but it was definitely a nice little change of pace from some of the movies that I've been seeing. So I appreciate that if nothing else. So thank you, Lorenzo. Thank you everybody that watched this. Please like and share this video. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. If you guys want to check out some of my social media links, you can check down below in the video description for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Spreadshirt for Cody Leach merchandise like t-shirts and other cool shit designed by the great Woody Bowen. I got a new Child's Play t-shirt in there. Check that shit out. And my Patreon page, which is a great way to give back to this channel and help this channel grow and get cool exclusive content for your eyes only if you decide to become a patron, such as the ability to choose movies for me to review, and you can join in the fun with Lorenzo. So check that out, guys. And if you want to check out some more of my videos, you can check out a few more by clicking right over here.